everything that brings people to downtown.
And we had always had this vision of revitalizing Main Street.
It reminds you of times when just things seem more simple.
It's a nod to your history as a city.
People always say it's a hallmark town.
You won't forget how you felt.
Fox 13 News presents this special report, Main Street, Utah. Here's your host, Spencer Joseph.
Welcome everybody on this fine afternoon as we celebrate Main Streets all over the state. That Main Street vibe to cities big and small. The tradition, the charm, and the celebration will be on full display for the next half an hour as we travel north, south, east, and west to Payson, Ogden, Cedar City, Camas, Salina, and Logan, each with its unique charm. But we're going to start off with perhaps what is the brightest Main Street, maybe anywhere in the state, where we are right now. Fox 13 photojournalist Julian Conrad has more on how Midvale's Main Street is now full of color.
Each of these are a different species that's native to Utah that's either extirpated, which means like extinct in the state, or endangered currently. It starts on the other side with a grizzly bear and a gray wolf, which used to be common in Utah, but went extinct in the state in the 30s.
We are doing a walk with the mayor, a mural walk, and we're having the community come out and take a look at our 5 brand new murals. I was on the city council for about 7 years, and we had always had this vision of revitalizing Main Street, activating the street, and just giving something for the residents here who live close to Main Street, but Midvale in general. It's become a miniature art district as well, and I think that gets a lot of people out just curious to see. I think the great thing about our Main Street, which is true of most cities' main streets, is there's just such a historical energy to all of them. And you know, we were lucky in Midvale, and our Main Street had the character, the history, and the bones in place. But I think it's a nod to like your history as a city, and when cities make an effort to maintain their history, you know, you're maintaining that city identity.
An awesome place to start out with, but let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Main streets can mark the difference between a hometown and an incorporated city. But with a universe of sprawling freeways and incorporated stores, it may be difficult to keep that true hometown Main Street vibe. But that's where Fox 13 News anchor Max Roth found one city that's becoming an example all across the state to keep that Main Street spirit alive.
2 Utah originals of history and geology. Payson's Main Street pointing to Mount Nebo. The mountain will outlast all of us. Main Street needs constant attention and occasional overhauls. Let's throw in another original. Hello. Look what you're watching.
What's your channel?
Yeah, I'm Max.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your name?
Lou.
Lou, you're Lou. Lou owns Lou's Barber Shop. 1 year ago, we talked with Lou's wife, Cherie, as road crews scrambled to finish the major part of the preservation project.
I still get customers say they park way over there and walk because they can't figure out how to get to our back parking lot.
So some struggle, but the final product makes Lou happy.
It's just very beautiful where they did it, the big little wide sidewalk.
And this is kind of unique.
Tyler, or Ty Jones, owns this insurance agency, and he co-founded the nonprofit working to preserve Payson's pride and joy.
And it creates a great ecosystem, creates that small town, hometown feel.
Most of the main streets are like 5 lane wide, and we have this 1 lane street that's a couple blocks with old historic buildings.
Brian Hewlett is on the city council.
It's fun, it's exciting. We have a business like El Tapatio that has a pineapple fajita. You won't get it anywhere else.
The enthusiasm is contagious, and you can see it even on a Tuesday mid-morning. You saw Chelsea Gauthier chime in on the fajitas, but she's not from Payson.
Where are those places downtown that you want to come and that makes it like, I'm going to go hang out at the local library, I'm going to, El Tapatio, I'm going to get dinner here, and this is where I like to celebrate on my birthday.
Gauthier is the statewide coordinator for Utah Main Streets, a program in the State Historic Preservation Office, SHPO. She mentioned the library where you can check out a book about kayaking and check out a kayak or a GoPro camera, or an American Girl doll, or a metal detector. Nice. It's a good gauge of a town's commitment to local culture. While the new street and its lights and flowers, its wide sidewalks, and its newly rerouted stream are an invitation.
So when we're looking at these downtowns that you're like, oh, it's not just a tourist town, you're looking at, well, how do you make people be a tourist in their own place?
And pay attention to how you feel. You'll forget what's there, but you won't forget how you feel. So definitely come on down.
Come down and let this town's proud Main Street set you up for a day in the mountains. And say hi to Lou.
I picked up business just by talking to people.
In Payson, Max Roth.
I'm really pleased with how it turned out.
Fox 13 News, Utah.
Now, not every Main Street has to be named, well, Main Street. And that's the case for our next entry. As one of the most robust economic centers and very locally owned streets, often recognized as one of the best main streets across America, even though it's not called that. Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gooby transports us to 25th Street in Ogden, where they say being a black sheep is actually one of their best qualities.
There's no Ogden without 25th Street.
It is a blend of history and fun.
There's something for everyone here.
Where else could you dine in a historic speakeasy and 20 minutes later be skiing waist-deep powder in the winter or hiking surrounded by wildflowers in the summer?
It brought the Nebeckers here to open their store, Campfire Sign and Design.
So we were looking for a place that had crazy good history, good people, and we found it.
25th Street is home to Union Station, small businesses, art, the annual car show, and so much more. And a big draw is the Saturday Farmers Market, with thousands of people taking over 25th Street.
It's great, honestly. It's kind of refreshing with, just being so busy in life and just being able to just kind of lounge and walk around and see the dogs and people enjoying themselves.
Ogden started as a railroad town in the 1800s, and Union Station has been the economic engine of this city. Nestled at the heart of 25th Street, it continues to bring people from all over. Taylor Hartman with Visit Ogden's job is to showcase the marvels of Ogden and, of course, of 25th Street.
They can come down to 25th Street and they can see and be seen and say hi to their neighbors. It's a communal gathering place, and it's something that I think we need more of in Utah, and I'm proud that we have in my own backyard.
You can go to the box stores and the chain stores. Hell, most of those are going away because you can shop on the internet. You're not going to get that internet feel on 25th. In those historic areas, you don't get that.
And it's caught the attention of people across the country.
And that was a huge point of pride for us.
So for 2 years in a row, historic 25th Street in Ogden has come third as America's best main street by USA Today. But that first place title is still something that people here are vying for.
Ogden's always been a little bit of a black sheep in Utah. I think that's why we're special, but now it's time to celebrate what makes us special.
With different types of restaurants, coffee shops, tattoo places, jewelry stores, record stores, and more.
Supporting local is so important, and I think that there's a special emphasis on that here that is very clear to see.
All in buildings with decades and decades of history, and has a special place in people's hearts even today.
25th Street makes me proud for the place that I call home.
In Ogden, I am Maithili Gooby, Fox 13 News, Utah.
So from northern Utah to southern Utah, we head to Festival City, USA, also known as Cedar City, where Chris Reed has a look at their unique Main Street vibe.
I'm Fox 13 Southern Utah News reporter Chris Reed. When people talk about Main Street in Cedar City, two words come to mind: Hallmark movie.
Especially when you come into Christmas, the lighting and everything. I joked that I was going to turn around and there was going to be my wife.
People always say it's a hallmark town.
Jaden Reardon grew up in Cedar City.
You see that a lot during Christmas with all of the lighting ceremonies. During the summer, you have the July Jamboree. There's a lot of energy surrounding downtown and everything going on there.
Even for non-natives, it's something special.
So I actually did not grow up in Cedar City. I'm from Las Vegas. I moved here when I was 17 for school. I went to SUU, and then I just loved it here, so I decided to stay. Like, Cedar just has Cedar people, and Cedar people are the best. They're different than from St. George people. They're different from Salt Lake people, from Logan people. They're just the best people.
Miriam Morrill is working to find success with her Ganache bakery inside a former movie theater.
We're not planning to remove the marquee. We want to keep that, just like that traditional classic look of the movie theater outside.
In just 1 year, Reardon has turned an old cafeteria into the award-winning Pub Spirits and Craft Kitchen. Both the pub and the bakery are benefiting from Main Street America grants.
We eventually would have done these things, but this helped us to be able to achieve that much faster.
Iron County's development director says in Cedar City, the program's been aimed at bolstering the new and old businesses.
And that program really is about identifying things where we can revitalize our historic downtowns and our historic main streets.
That's included funding a new bar for Jaden and an ice cream machine for Marin. And just maybe, Marin can get her own hallmark moving.
I don't know, one of them probably has to decide if they want to leave town, or probably for some crazy job opportunity, or if they're going to stay in the small town and marry the brownie shop worker.
From Cedar City, Chris Reed, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Coming up, we'll take you to one Utah town that's working hard to conserve their charm. Plus, we'll then look to the skies to highlight one town's main street that strives to bring people back into town every single summer.
Fox 13 News presents Main Street, Utah.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Fox 13 News special report, Main Street, Utah, where we're taking a look at main streets all over the state. Next, we're heading to the gateway to the Uintas, Camas, where they're looking to preserve their Main Street spirit.
Well, walking along Main Street in Camas, you may notice many historic buildings like this old theater next to me. I'm Carolina Hassett, and buildings like this one are being declared endangered historic spaces, and residents are working to preserve Camas history.
I remember the cafe. I remember as a kid going to the movie theater.
For some, they're just old buildings, but for others, they hold childhood memories.
I remember the firehouse. In fact, I painted the firehouse as my Eagle Scout project.
Many believe the Main Street corridor lined with historic buildings is what makes the city of Camas unique. However, people like Brandy Strand from Preservation Utah are worried about their future.
There's a lot of development pressure happening right now. We're looking for taking over lots and building homes and doing that high density housing. The development that happens so fast and wipes out that history is what makes that big impact on the community.
According to Preservation Utah, 23 historic buildings remain in Camas, but are being declared endangered historic spaces, meaning they could be lost due to neglect, demolition, or natural disasters.
If we lose these spaces, places, and buildings, there's no recreating history. Once it's gone, it's gone.
That's where Camas Valley Preservation Association comes in. Jennifer McCaffrey says her organization is working to provide research and resources to try to preserve these spaces.
We intend to set up an information clearinghouse so that each community can do their own investigation and determine what works best for them.
Mayor Matt McCormick has lived in Camas his whole life and feels the buildings help people understand the city's history. However, there can be challenges considering the buildings have individual property owners.
Sometimes those private owners have different ideas for what the property should look like, and preserving the buildings doesn't necessarily fit into their plans.
McCaffrey says they plan to work with property owners to see if they can preserve the space while still meeting the owner's needs.
They could come up to us and say, hey, we heard that to set this up as a historic preservation project, it costs a lot of money and it's not worth it. And we'll be able to provide information that says fairly and do the research for them that is or is not the case.
The hope is that these buildings are around for a long time so that people can appreciate the history, just like McCormick did as a kid.
It reminds you of times when just things seem more simple.
In Camas, Carolina Hassett, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Now on to a city where locals say there were a lot more travelers at one point, bringing in a lot of needed business. That's where we find Fox 13 News anchor Amy Nay, where local stores are now relying on summer festivals and rodeos to get back to where they once were in the hub city, also known as Salina.
Whether it's the sign as you drive in or the locals that you meet, visitors to Salina are immediately invited to join in the culture of this northern Sevier County town.
We're working over here at the Black Hawk Arena. There's like 140 or so contestants. It's pretty fun, cool deal.
Events like a weekend horse show at the rodeo arena help bring in some much needed business.
I grew up here as a little guy, and then I used to go with my grandpa. It's changed a lot. So we used to have the pharmacies and some other big restaurants and stuff like that. And so it's changed.
Alan believes the tourists stopped coming through in their once big numbers after I-15 was built, taking drivers on a whole different route.
They just used to come through Salina, and Salina Main Street was way busy.
But the town more than doubles in size during some of its summer festivals, like the 18th annual Eyes to the Sky Balloon Festival. The balloons were grounded all weekend long, but those who came out in the early morning hours on day one to see whether or not they'd go up, and away didn't seem to mind.
It was our first time coming to actually see the balloons, but it was really fun, very interesting. We had a good time, huh?
I think they're great. They're usually a good time for communities to come together.
Katrina and Kelly are locals who brought their kids out to see the festivities they say are a lot of fun.
It's awesome to be able to let my kids have these experiences. So.
The balloon festival, well, not what they had hoped on this first morning. The wind's keeping those balloons down, but still a lot of people are in town, and it's events like these that help the small town of Salina.
It adds about 8,000 people on the weekend, and that's wonderful for all the businesses. No matter who you are in town, you know about the Balloon Festival, and most people love it a lot.
Kirk Rasmussen helps promote and advertise for the festival.
It's ginormous. It just makes a huge impact.
When they have the festival, it gets really busy.
Alan appreciates the added people in through his front door at Sevier Valley Coffee, but says it's often hard to stay afloat.
It's hit or miss. So you're busy one day and you might not be busy the next, and it kind of gets you, but we continue on.
Encouraging any local visitors to stop by and say hello the next time they're in town. Reporting in Salina, Amy Nay, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thanks for staying with us. We've got one more special treat of a Main Street about as far north in Utah as you can get that has a program that's revitalizing the city. That coming up next.
Welcome back to a Fox 13 News special, Main Street, Utah.
Thanks so much for sticking with us today as we celebrate Utah's Main Streets. We've got one final treat for you as we head to the City United in Service, as they have a program that's got a lot of people talking.
I would much rather visit a downtown than any sort of mall or strip mall.
The more people, the better.
I'm Brian Champagne on Logan's Main Street, where this summer they're trying a program that had some success last summer on Center Street. Vendors and businesses taking over the sidewalks of Center Street on summer Wednesdays in 2024 saw enough foot traffic to make Main Street jealous.
Businesses on Main Street wanted to have exposure to the increased traffic that they saw was happening on Center Street.
So this summer, they're hosting sidewalk shopping on Main once a month.
People have told us that we're kind of a blend between Nordstrom and REI.
The co-owner of the Sportsman put some of his wares on the Main Street sidewalk every day already.
We're in favor of anything and everything that brings people to downtown.
Whenever Center Street's busy, I'm busy. It really feeds my business. Oh, okay, awesome.
King's Vintage is almost at the corner of Center and Main.
Vacant spaces or places that were being used almost as a storage unit now are open every day, and there's just a lot of people shopping, and I feel like our downtown is just more fun than ever before.
Now the Logan Downtown Alliance is getting in on the Utah Main Street program, already helping in places like Helper and Brigham City, and they're going for Main Street America.
We're excited to be a part of this larger organization that brings meaningful impact to downtown.
Impact with money and expertise in how to use it to restore main streets and keep them healthy.
Anything to be more recognizable on a national scale helps us. We're in favor of that for sure.
And Saxton says the Main Street groups make it easier for tourists to find your Main Street.
I like the good mix that this little city has of old, new, and a mix in between.
Downtown Alliance leaders say they'd love to have merchandise out here on Main Street every Wednesday, but the city will only permit that one day a month. In Logan, Brian Champagne, Fox 13 News, Utah.
We hope you had some fun, learned a little something, and definitely planned a spot on your next vacation to stop. Because if there's one thing I've learned through this series, it's that main streets in Utah will welcome you with open arms. Thank you for all of us at Fox 13 for joining us. We hope you have a lovely 4th of July with your friends and family. And thank you for letting us into your homes every single day.
There.